from impossible comebacks
The man who was in last place at the end of lap 1 comes home to win!
to crashes that make you go, wait, what? And cars that somehow ended up in the water. Yeah, in the friggin' water. These are the most unforgettable F1 moments, and trust me, you are not ready for all of them. In F1, we know there are dumb moments, usually caused by the usual suspects, of course.
Up for everyone. Oh, contact to the back of the road on the formation lap.
He used to break the track rod.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And honestly, we love them. They make us laugh. The thing is, with or without woes, sometimes F1 hits you in moments that make you go, wait, what the hell did I just watch? One of those glitches in the Matrix moments happened at the 2025 British GP. And no, I'm not talking about the Hulk podium, though that is definitely a 1 in a trillion moment too.
And finally, he gets to stand on the podium. It's 3rd place for Hulkenberg.
I'm talking about what the Haas drivers got up to, of course, when Behrman went full send like there was no tomorrow against his teammate Ocon. And well, this happened.
Across, he had to swerve left onto the wet part of the track, and they met in the middle.
Masterpiece? Bluetooth connected? Seriously, have you ever seen anything like that? I seriously thought I was getting double vision when I saw it. I couldn't stop laughing. It made zero sense. And speaking of things that make zero sense, let's talk about the 2020 Sakir GP. That season, thanks to some kind of virus ruining everyone's plans, the calendar got thrown out the window, and we got some random places like Sakir. This one was on the outer layer of Bahrain, the super fast, blink and you miss it kind of track. Now, even though it looked like a pretty simple race with zero hype, it turned it into one of the wildest races of the year. And at the center of the chaos, Checo Perez performing a straight up miracle. He started P5, but on the first lap, a bump with Leclerc dropped him to dead last and straight into the pits.
It's lights out and away we go. Russell does get away well, as does Max Verstappen, and Valtteri Bottas has got his teammate right alongside him already. Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo, look up there as Perez is caught by Charles Leclerc, and there's 3 cars gone off at turn 4.
Okay, Checo, box.
Somehow the car was fine, but now he had to fight like hell to score points. But here's the thing, Checo didn't panic. He was calculating, attacking, and absolutely relentless.
Past Lando Norris and Sergio Perez. Perez again, he got past Lando Norris on the last lap, fancies Alex Albon.
Just like the people who are subscribed to this channel, because they actually get what this is all about. In the first 15 laps, Checo clawed his way up to P11, and by lap 28, the Mexican was already 5th.
Places up as well, he's on the hard tyre. He's going to the end on those hard tyres. He's going to try and get past his teammate if he can. Lock up there by Lance Stroll, and that will certainly help Sergio Perez get past.
Focused as ever, he didn't panic for a second, and by lap 57, he was 3rd.
Sergio Perez is running in the podium places.
Just behind the 2 Mercedes of Russell and Bottas, who have basically been untouchable all race. Then came lap 63, and everything went insane.
They're double stacking at Mercedes. The front right tyre was slow for George Russell. And for Valtteri Bottas, even more confusion for a crew that are normally very
they're not happy
adept.
with the left front. They're not happy with it.
They put Bottas's tyres on Russell's car, forcing him to pit again the next lap.
Okay, George, we're going to need to box. We have a mixed tyre set on the car.
But basically what's happened is they've got some of Bottas's tyres on.
Absolute chaos. Meanwhile, Checo, who hadn't stopped, inherited P1.
They are now the lead car. Russell has also boxed.
Russell, trying to hunt him down after dropping a P5, then got a puncture at the worst possible moment, losing his shot at victory.
Looks like a rear left puncture.
Ah, George.
So Russell's coming in now. It's another pit stop. Puncture for George Russell, obviously.
In Checo, he held off the rest of the pack and pulled off one of the most epic comebacks in F1 history.
The man who was in last place at the end of lap 1 comes home to win the Sakir Grand Prix.
I hope I'm not dreaming, because I dreamed so many years being in this moment. 10 years it took me.
Going from last on the first lap to first at the finish. And the best part, this wasn't just a win, but the Sakir miracle instant career saver. 4th in the championship, a Red Bull seat for next year, and a legendary moment that basically screamed, don't sleep on me. But what if I told you there were not 1, but 2 absolutely insane moments in motorsport history where the stars literally aligned? Alright, picture Monaco, the fancy, twisty streets of the Principality, racing past the casino, the harbour, all the glitz and glam. One wrong move and you're toast.
Accident he had in practice.
But somehow, Alberto Ascari and Paul Hawkins decided to take that risk to a whole new level. Back in 1955, Monaco was back on the F1 calendar after a few years off. Ascari was duking it out with the Mercedes of Sterling Moss and Juan Manuel Fangio when he came through Lowe's corner and hit a patch of oil left by Moss's car. Result?
Ascari has overshot the chicane. The car has somersaulted straight into the harbour.
His Alfa D50 slid straight into the harbour. Despite the track upgrades, the safety measures back then were laughably minimal. Basically just straw bales, and they weren't nearly enough to stop the car from ending up in the harbour. Luckily, the race organisers had some divers on standby. Yes, actual divers. Soon after, Ascari was lifted onto a stretcher and rushed to the hospital. Ascari spent the night in hospital, miraculously alive, with a broken nose. That's it. And yeah, the story gets darker. Just 4 days later, Ascari passed away while testing a Ferrari at Monza.
Racing legend Alberto Ascari perishes at Monza. The double world champion has died following a tragic testing crash just 4 days after surviving his plunge into the Monaco harbor.
He was the first F1 world champ to die in a car accident. Ascari was superstitious. He never wanted to race without his lucky blue helmet. At Monaco, the strap on that helmet broke, so he had to send it off for repairs. Fast forward to Monza, and he had to borrow his teammate Castellotti's helmet, meaning he wasn't wearing his usual lucky charm when it all went wrong. I'll just leave that there. You draw your own conclusions. And that famous splash was so extraordinary that it only ever happened one more time. 10 years later, in 1965, Paul Hawkins, driving his Lotus Climax, just wanted to finish the race and maybe grab a few points. But on lap 79, he spun in the chicane. Since 1965, no F1 car has ever made it to the bottom of the Monaco harbour again. But just in case, on race days there's still a full team of divers hanging around the pier. And if there's one rule in F1, it's this. The second you say, nah, that'll never happen, F1 goes, hold my beer, and one of those,
hey, you swear to God! Put that on Allah, say, put that on Allah!
Moments happened at the 2008 Turkish GP. A few seconds after the lights went out, charging into turn 1.
Hayes lifts and we come down to turn 1.
And, well, this happened.
In the second place, and it looks like Raikkonen has been boxed out of it. He's way down, we've got a collision at the back.
Didn't see it properly? Yeah, watch this again.
It's gone in way too hot.
Nah, seriously, what? Fisichella just straight up forgot where the brakes were and sent it straight into Nakajima, getting launched and literally jumping over him. Like, how does that even happen? What are the odds? 1 in a billion? 1 in a trillion? And yeah, seeing one car fly over another is literally the last thing you want to see. Thankfully, it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's properly scary. Nowadays, we've got the Halo, which has thankfully proven it actually works when stuff like this happens. Like Hamilton and Max in Monza 2021. Well, Leclerc in Spa 2018.
Fernando Alonso goes over the top there of Charles Leclerc's Sauber.
But back then, no halo, nothing. When something like that happened, your heart just dropped. And one of those please don't let this end badly moments happened in Austria 2015.
It's lights out in Austria, and away we go. Seems like a pretty good start there from Nico Rosberg.
It was a pretty clean start until after turn 3, when Raikkonen and Alonso touched, both completely lost it and slammed into the wall.
That's Kimi Raikkonen, and on top of him is Fernando Alonso, and that's
Everyone instantly panicked because it seriously looked like the McLaren had launched itself right onto Kimi's head, which is, you know, not ideal. And somehow, genuinely how, I don't know, the McLaren stopped just inches from Raikkonen's helmet. Pure luck. Absolute miracle. Alonso jumped out straight away to check if Kimi was okay, and Kimi, as always, was just chilling. No handshake, no drama, nothing. And if that moment was surreal, the 2015 Singapore GP wasn't far behind. Somehow it managed to be completely normal until it wasn't. There we were, cars flying through the streets of Singapore, lights blazing, drivers giving it their all. When suddenly, on lap 38, out of nowhere, a random guy strolls onto the track.
what is this? Just a man going for a stroll. Oh God, there is.
fan on the track.
Yep, a total random dude, like he's on a casual Sunday walk. Of course, the safety car came out, and then, as casually as he appeared, the guy just walks off the track like nothing happened.
1,000 fans here this evening, and one of them has thought, you know what? I'll go for a walk on the track.
So, yep, he walks onto the track, brings out a safety car, leaves, and refuses to elaborate further. Singapore police nabbed him shortly after, and apparently the dude later confirmed to be 27. But seriously, how the hell did he sneak past all the security and stroll on the track? Was this another crash gate that someone planned? So many questions, and so few answers. But if we're talking about moments that leave you with way more questions than answers, the 1991 Australian GP is right up there. A race that, until the infamous 2021 Belgian GP, proudly held the title, and I use that word very loosely, of the shortest race in F1 history. Senna on his 60th pole, Berger alongside him, both McLarens on the front row, with the Williams cars right behind as their main threat. The conditions were straight up biblical. Not, oh, it's a bit damp. Nah, this was monsoon DLC activated. Zero visibility, rivers on the track, cars aquaplaning like they signed up for jet ski lessons. And surprise, surprise, by lap 5, chaos had already arrived. A massive crash wiped out Alesi, Larini, Boutsen, and Schumacher, with cars just abandoned on track. And I genuinely don't know how the leaders avoided them, because with that visibility, they were basically driving blind. Seriously, it was absolute madness, and somehow they just kept racing. And while dangerous spins were piling up all over the track, things somehow got even worse. A few laps later, on lap 8,
You see, he was going straight and true.
Pierluigi Martini lost control of his Minardi, slammed it into the wall, and then bounced straight back onto the racing line. Yeah, completely normal. And yeah, the race kept going. But it wasn't until Nigel Mansell's crash that things finally tipped over the edge.
Yes, it is. Nigel Mansell has spun.
While Berger himself did a double spin on the same lap. Chaos on chaos. Senna took one look at the situation, cars stranded everywhere, marshals unable to clear anything, and basically went, nah, this is insane. He started waving his arms like crazy, and on lap 16, the long-awaited red flag finally came out. Yeah, it literally took Ayrton Senna himself to warn the marshals for the race to be stopped. My God. And while the other drivers were all saying the same thing, that racing in those conditions had been an absolute joke, the race director actually defended the decision, claiming the circuit was quite safe. Like, what is bro talking about? I think I'd rather listen to the driver's opinion on that one. And if in Australia 1991 the race director seemed to forget he actually had a job to do, let me introduce you to a man who, for some reason, completely forgot how Malaysia worked. Let's rewind to 2001, formation lap in Sepang. Everything seems normal, until Frenson's engine starts misfiring.
It's Frenson, that is Frenson.
Nothing to do with Fisichella, by the way, but somehow the Italian's brain just buffered. Because when the cars stop on the grid, Fisichella is in the wrong place. Not slightly off, not half a meter, no.
They'll have to abort the start. A Benetton completely out of sync there. Who is that down there? It's Fisichella, isn't it?
From there, it's pure comedy.
Giancarlo, what's going on? Everything is normal, sorry, I made a mistake.
Everyone watching is thinking the same thing. Mate, how did you even get there? Result, aborted start, second formation lap, and Fisichella gets sent to the back of the grid. Embarrassing? Yes. Unforgettable? Also yes. Now you'd think that would be a one-off, right? Wrong. Fast forward to 2003. Same track, same guy, and somehow, same vibes.
Oh, and look, Jordan, is that Fisichella?
He did it a few years ago. Do you remember in the Benetton? He did exactly the same thing.
Once again, Fisichella managed to turn the pre-race procedure into a full what the f*** moment. At least this time he actually lined up correctly, so the race went ahead like nothing happened.
They cannot. What's happened is Villeneuve was right in front of Fisichella, and it's put him out of kilter.
We're going to race though here at Malaysia when the 5 lights go out.
And honestly, the weird part isn't that it happened once. That's already bad enough. But twice? That's just way too strange. Like it was destined to happen or something. Because every now and then F1 gives us these moments, let's call them weird for lack of a better word, that make us laugh, get angry, or just sit there staring at the screen like, what did I just watch? And trust me, this next story is definitely going to leave you speechless. And as always, thank you for watching.